When a wrestler is cast in a movie, fans hope to see certain things. One-liners, big people hitting other big people, the most beloved wrestler of the 80s saying the word dookie in a really weird way. Things falling over, and most of all, for the wrestler to hit their finishing move. As hammy and cheesy as it is, the meta pleasure that wrestling fans get from seeing The Rock hit a rock bottom on the big screen bypasses all sense of logic, taste, and respect for storytelling. It jolts them right in the hell yeah part of their brains. I'm Plumpy from WhatCulture.com, and here are 10 times wrestlers did their finisher in a movie. Number 10, most of WCW, Ready to Rumble. Ready to Rumble is a reasonably bad movie starring David Arquette and made in conjunction with WCW. No, they made it in conjunction with WCW because they f***ing crammed WCW into every single frame. Whole scenes happen in Nitro tapings, the WCW heavyweight belt is featured, and practically every big star of the promotion makes it into the film somehow. DDP features as the main villain despite being a top face at the time, go figure, but also Goldberg, Randy Savage, Sid Vicious, Sting, Billy Kidman, Mr. Perfect, Bam Bam Bigelow, Booker T, even Tony Schiavone and Mean Gene Okerlund show up. Everyone's in it, except Ric Flair, good choice, Nate. As you'd expect from a wrestling movie featuring wrestlers playing wrestlers, a bunch of finishing moves get brought out, including Goldberg's jackhammer, Sid Vicious's powerbomb, and DDP's diamond cutter. Number 9, John Morrison, Russell Madness. Russell Madness is a film that was clearly supposed to be called WrestleMania before WWE weighed in with the most deadly stable on its roster, Vince McMahon's legal team. It's a story of a talking dog called Russell who gets trained by a talking monkey called Hunk to become a professional wrestler. I mean, it's no more ridiculous than Jinder Mahal being world champion. According to the official blurb on IMDb, Russell discovers that the ultimate tag team is family, and that can absolutely go f*** itself. The villain of the piece is The Hammer, played in earnest by John Morrison, now wrestling as Johnny Mundo in Lucha Underground. During a match with the dog, John Morrison puts the pooch to sleep with a whistle and then hits him with Starship Pain. He straight up leaps from the top rope and flattens a dog. You f***ing asshole. Number 8, Kurt Angle, Wrestlers vs. Zombies. Wrestlers vs. Zombies is a period tale of love and manners in an English countryside. There's a brand new eligible bachelor in town called Mr. Bingley, and he's organising a no wait, that's Pride and Prejudice. Wrestlers vs. Zombies is about wrestlers fighting zombies. This dreadful schlockfest stars Rowdy Roddy Piper, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, the franchise Shane Douglas, Matt Hardy, and for some ungodly reason, my best friend Kurt Angle. The Olympic hero hits not one, but 2 of his finishes in the same goddamn scene, breaking off a zombie's leg with his angle lock and ploughing another to the mat with an angle slam. He's better than this. Number 7, John Cena, Fred the Movie. And what's quite a baffling turn of events, John Cena has been in a number of action movies, The Marine, 12 Rounds, The Reunion, but for some reason, the only person that he's hit with the attitude adjustment on the big screen has been a child. Fred the Movie is about Fred Figglehorn, the internet sensation created and performed by Lucas Cruikshank, who at one time had the most subscribed channel on YouTube. Fred is 6 years old and has a very high-pitched voice that appears to be his whole gimmick. Boo. In 2010, in order to catch some of that internet money, a Fred movie was made starring Cruikshank and playing his dad, none other than the leader of the C Nation himself, John Cena. Cena then proceeds to good-naturedly slap his kid around before hoisting him up on his shoulders and giving him the AA, parenting. Number 6, Jerry Lawler, Girls Gone Dead. Sure, Jerry Lawler hit his signature pile driver in the Andy Kaufman movie Man on the Moon, but that was based on real life and so lacked the surprise factor that makes a wrestler hitting their big screen finisher so enjoyable. So instead, let's look at Girls Gone Dead, which is exactly what you think it is. Spring break is here and a bunch of attractive twats are enjoying their vacation at Manatee Creek when the partygoers start being picked off one by one by a hooded figure wielding a medieval battle axe. Lawler plays the sheriff of Manatee Creek, who finishes off the psycho once and for all by hoisting the killer up for the pile driver, despite them being on fire, utters the Wildian bon mot, "Eat dirt, bitch," and drives them to the ground, breaking their neck. Thankfully, the king doesn't then go on to shout puppies at all the frightened bikinied women. Number 5, Goldberg, Santa's Sleigh. Now, we've already seen Goldberg hit the jackhammer, but what about the spear, you ask? Yes, I know it's not his quote finisher, but you, Dad, it's part of it. Santa's Sleigh is a 2005 horror comedy movie directed by former Brett Ratner assistant David Steinman, and when you can't even bag Ratner, you're in trouble. The film posits that Santa Claus, played by Bill Goldberg, is essentially the Antichrist, a child of Satan, and Santa Goldberg murders everybody. Whilst attacking a poor Jewish deli owner, played by Danny from Friends, hello, Santa leaps all the way through his meat counter to spear him into a wall before stabbing him to death with a menorah. The film ends with Santa looking through his naughty list and saying to the camera, "You've guessed it, who's next?" Number 4, Hulk Hogan, Rocky 3. Rocky 3 marked the film debut of Hulk Hogan, which, considering that films like No Holds Barred, Suburban Commando, and Mr. Nanny were to follow, might not be something to celebrate. It was also a rare villainous role for the Hulkster, playing the preposterously named Thunderlips, a lumbering blonde monstrosity who suplexed, body slammed, and otherwise tossed around a tiny Stallone like he was a weirdly voiced child. Hogan hits the atomic leg drop, but bizarrely, it's not the end of the fight, but rather buried somewhere in the middle. Hulk couldn't have been happy about that. Number 3, Batista, the man with the iron fist. Most people can agree that despite the somewhat frosty reception Batista received as a Hollywood megastar returning to WWE, Guardians of the Galaxy was damn fun. Most people could also agree that Drax the Destroyer not hitting the Batista bomb in not one but 2 movies is a goddamn missed opportunity of galactic proportions. Those looking for their powerbomb fix, however, should direct their gaze at the wonderfully mad The Man with the Iron Fist. It's directed by RZA, the leader of the Wu-Tang Clan. I know loads about the Wu-Tang Clan, obviously. It's also written by RZA, starring RZA, with music by RZA. So if you're a fan of RZA, you're having a picnic. Batista features as one of the main villains, a mercenary known as Brass Body. So cool because his skin turns metal whenever it's struck. There's a scene where the leader of the Wu-Tang Clan, that's RZA. I know that RZA is the leader of the Wu-Tang Clan. He's got iron fists, you see, and he's fighting professional wrestler Batista, whose body can turn into brass. It's brilliant, you should watch it. The Batista bomb features in the film, and it's one of the few times on this list that a wrestler's finisher is actually made to look deadly in real life. Number 2, The Rock, The Rundown, and Furious 7. The Rock once hit 7 of 9 with a rock bottom in an episode of Star Trek Voyager. I like that. There have been many rock bottoms to hit our screens since. Not only did Rock nail Jason Statham with a rock bottom through a glass table in the first action scene of Furious 7, the most masculine movie of all time, but in Fast and Furious 6, he also teams up with Vin Diesel to nail a henchman with the LOD's beloved Doomsday device. Finally, he hits yet another rock bottom to a faceless goon in the opening club scene in The Rundown, aka Welcome to the Jungle in the UK. Although in that scene, the move, and don't say this too loud, looks more like Booker T's bookend. Sorry, Rock. And number 1, El Santo, all of his movies. If you've not heard of El Santo, there's a strong possibility that you're not Mexican, because the masked luchador was insanely popular in that country. The man who wears a silver mask was a national icon, had a wrestling career that spanned 5 decades, and was more popular than Hulk Hogan was in America many times over. He was a national symbol for justice and honor, starring in a comic book that ran for over 35 years, and in terms of popularity, the only comparable figure in our culture would be Superman. That's how ingrained El Santo was in Mexican culture. When he died, he had won the biggest public funerals in that country's history. But let's talk about movies. El Santo starred in 52 lucha libre films during his career, and they're all silly. In each of the B-movie genre flicks, reminiscent of the old serials of the 40s, El Santo plays himself, a wrestler superhero who travels the country dispensing justice and defeating monsters. His first major success was Santo vs. the Zombies, and he starred in dozens more with classics like Santo vs. the Vampire Women, Santo vs. Diabolical Brain, and Santa and the Treasure of Montezuma. During most of his movies, there are sections from wrestling matches cut in for no reason other than wrestling is awesome, and during tenuous cutaways you can count on El Santo busting out his finisher, which was his own variation on a camel clutch. And that's our list. Did we miss any out? Tell us about it in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter here, and you can follow us on Twitter here. I'm Plumpy from WhatCulture.com, and I'll see you soon.